We are going to drain the swamp in Washington, D.C. We're draining the swamp.
Mr. President, given your concern with Twitter, have you given any consideration to deleting your account, to just walking away from this platform you've been so critical of?
Well, you know, if you weren't fake, I would not even think about it. I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yesterday, Jared Kushner said the notion of the federal stockpile was it's supposed to be our stockpile. It's not supposed to be state stockpiles that they then use. What did he mean by our?
Oh, what are you asking?
And even the fact that taxpayers from
What's that?
every
It got
state
you.
pays
It got
for
you.
it. No,
You
it's
used the
not
word
gotcha. What
Our, you know what our means? United States of America. That's what it means. It means
the states.
our. It means the United States of America. And then we take that our and we distribute it to the states.
Bureaucrats think they can run over your lives, overrule your values, meddle in your faith, and tell you how to live, what to say, and where to pray. But we know that parents, not bureaucrats, know best how to raise their children and create a thriving society.
He was never considered a good senator. He was only a good vice president because he understood how to kiss Barack Obama's ass.
Repeatedly that you think that some of the equipment that governors are requesting they don't actually need. You said New York might not need 30,000. You said it on Sean Hannity's Fox News. You said
You know,
that
why don't you people act? Let me ask you.
You said
why
some
don't
state.
Why don't you act in a little more positive? It's always trying to
My
get
question
you.
to you
Get you. And you know what? That's why nobody trusts the media anymore.
My
That's
question
why
to you is,
people,
how is that going to
Excuse
impact?
me, you didn't hear me. That's why you used to work for the Times and now you work for somebody else. So, if you look at what I did in terms of cutting off or banning China from coming in.
Chinese nationals. But by the way, not Americans who are also
Nice and
coming
easy.
from China.
Nice and easy. Just relax. We cut it off. People were amazed. These gentlemen, everybody was amazed that I did it.
The virus was already here.
Okay, and you know how many people, when I issued the ban, how many cases of virus were in the United States when I issued the ban? Do you know the number? No, how many cases? Remember I said one person. How many cases were here when I issued the ban?
Well, when you report fake news, when you report fake news, which CNN does a lot, you are the enemy of the people. Go ahead.
Because I'm wearing leather bottom shoes, which is good if you're walking on flat surfaces. It's not good for ramps. And if I fall down, look at all those press back there, look at them.
Turn those televisions.
Look, let me tell you something. We sent thousands of generators to New York. They were put into a warehouse, a New York warehouse that happened to be located, interestingly, in Edison, New Jersey. They were given to New York, and we then went to other places, also giving thousands of ventilators. The people in New York never distributed the generators. We said, why didn't you distribute them? Now, you have to understand, they have New York people working in those warehouses. They knew they had them. So we said, why didn't you distribute them? I hope they've distributed them now, but maybe they didn't need them so badly. Then in 1913, they ended tariffs, okay? They ended tariffs. Somebody got stupid.
Black unemployment went up by 0.1%. Asian American unemployment went up by 0.5%. How is that a victory?
You are something.
How is that a victory?
I'm the president and you're fake news. Talking about our country. He's talking, excuse me, he's talking about the federal government. I mean, it's such a basic, simple question, and you try and make it sound so bad. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You know what? You ought to be ashamed. It's such a simple question. He said our, and our means for the country, and our means for the states because the states are a part of the country. Don't make it sound bad. Don't make it sound bad. They said, no, it's okay for other nations to come in. I won't use a certain word because
not politically, but everybody knows the word I'd love to use. Should I use it? I won't do it.
They are vicious people. They have one goal, the pursuit of their own political power for whatever reason, but that's their goal. That really seems to be their goal. Their goal or their sickness.
So the Constitution says treason is punishable by death. You've accused your adversaries of treason. Who specifically are you accusing of treason?
Well, I think a number of people, and I think what you look is that they have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person. You look at Comey, if you look at McCabe, if you look at probably people higher than that, if you look at Strzok, if you look at his lover, Lisa Page, his wonderful lover, the two lovers, they talked openly. He's a failed presidential candidate. He's a nasty person. I don't like the governor of Washington. So you know who calls? I get Mike Pence to call. Or I can go down this really steep, it's an ice skating rink. It's brutal. So I said, General, get ready, because I may grab you so fast. Because I can't fall with the fake news watching. If I fall, I remember when President Ford fell out of the plane, you remember? I remember when another president, nice man, threw up in Japan. And they did slow motion replays. True. Right? It's true.
Wasn't there been a delay in the...
Okay, thank you very much. Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to answer your question you asked me. She was appointed in January of this year to her current position as the Principal Deputy Inspector
Okay,
General.
we're going to take a look at it. Go ahead. You know, they didn't use their private server because they didn't want to get caught, so they used the government server. That was not a good move. He talked about the insurance policy just in case crooked Hillary loses, and that didn't work out too well for them. So you look at them, they want an insurance policy so that should she, for any reason, lose, remember, 100 million to 1. Maybe he said 100 million to nothing. But should she lose, we'll have an insurance policy and we'll get this guy out of office. And that's what they said, and that's what they meant. That's treason.
They don't turn. They don't turn. You notice they don't turn. But if there was some kind of trouble in a little corner, anything to make us look bad, that camera would turn like a pretzel.
Okay, question? Yeah, go ahead. Sure. She's shocked that I picked her.
No.
She's like in a state of shock.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay, I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead, back here. You
You
just asked your question. You just asked your question in a very nasty tone. Let's go.
You didn't give me an answer.
Please. Mr. President, I gave you a perfect answer. You know it. Go ahead. I called my wife. She said, you're trending #1. I said to our great First Lady, was it that good, the speech, that I'm trending #1? Because I felt it was really good. No, they don't even mention the speech. They mentioned the fact that you may have Parkinson's disease. That's true.
With the Postal Service if they need the money, and we're dealing with that.
The Postal Service is a joke. The radical left demands absolute conformity from every professor, researcher, reporter, journalist, corporation, entertainer, politician, campus speaker.
Attacking the fake news and attacking our network. I just want to ask you, sir.
I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine...
Very fake news.
I know, but aren't you...
That's treason. They couldn't win the election, and that's what happened. And that's what's happening right now because, without the treason word, I guess, but that's what's happening now. They don't feel they can win the election, so they're trying to do the 1,000 stabs. Keep stabbing. Let's have a financial. Let's have...
If I can follow up on this question of the HHS Inspector General, and by the way, her name was Christy Grimm, and it wasn't so much her opinion, but they interviewed 323 different hospitals.
Well, it still could be her opinion. When was she appointed?
I'm not sure when she was
Would you do
appointed.
me a favor? Let me know.
I'll check.
No, let me know now. I have to know now, John. Let me know now. Because we are doing an incredible job in testing. We are doing a better job than anybody in the world right now in testing. There's nobody close. And other nations admit this. Other nations have admitted it very strongly. Other nations are calling us, wanting to know about our testing. Let me know when she was appointed, would you?
Specifically,
Go ahead, please.
We conclude there'll be no response to these particular provocations.
I'm not going to tell you anything about what response I do. I don't talk about military response. I don't say I'm going into Mosul in 4 months. We killed 150 million people. That's half of our population. This is a terrible event. We have to find out what's going on. This is bad. This wasn't reported by the fake news. How long has that person been in government? Could I ask you that?
Did serve in the previous administration.
Oh, you didn't tell me that. Oh, I see. You didn't tell me that, John. You didn't tell me that. Did serve in the previous administration. You mean the Obama administration. Thank you for telling me that. See, there's a typical fake news deal. And if you look, for $40 million, I would think, seriously, that Bob Mueller and his group of 18 killers have gone over my taxes, they've gone over my financial statements to a level that nobody has gone over them before, and they were not discussed even. They weren't even discussed or brought up. I have great statements. Allowed any information that turned out to be so false and fake out. I think it's a disgrace. Give me the name of the Inspector General. Could politics be entered into that? Go ahead, please. And you have to understand, we first went through Russia. It was all bullshit.
You asked me when she was appointed. I told you when she was appointed.
You're a third-rate reporter, and what you just said is a disgrace, okay? They say there's something wrong with our president. I'll let you know if there's something wrong, okay? I'll let you know if there's something. I'll tell you what, there's something wrong with Biden, that I can tell. So, you asked me, you said, sir, just got appointed. Take a look at what you said now. I said, when did this person, how long in government? Well, it was appointed in the Obama administration. Thank you very much, John. Thank you very much. You will never make it. Go ahead, please.
On the ventilators, this is for Admiral Jawar, but...
And instead of asking a nasty, snarky question like that, you should ask a real question.
We are all in this together. And as I've said many times from this podium over many, many months, I know that with the cooperation of the American people, with our incredible doctors and nurses and first responders, with the extraordinary partnership of federal and state and local health officials, and with God's help, we will get through this, and we will get through this together.
Mr. Vice President.
Thank you all.
Mr. Vice President. Are you really all of you need to answer this. Why is the federal government? What is going on? And you're not working with the transition. You're all part of not recognizing democracy. You're all undermining the democratic election. Every one of you. And you won't work with the transition.
With Vice President Mike Pence. He's up there talking about God and we're going to get through this together. And Mike Pence was probably looking at this.
I have certain rules I live by. My first rule, I don't believe anything the government tells me. Nothing. Zero. Those sons of...
You're with the Illuminati.
You are at a level now where I can die next to you.
Time for you to die!
I can see your eyes have more power in them. That's good.
Who would dare oppose us? Who? Who?
The one they call Trump is who?